Let's now begin this bulletin by bringing you some news from Afghanistan. The Taliban has claimed responsibility for a car bomb blast in eastern Afghanistan. We have learned that at least 7 people have been killed and more than 30 injured in this attack. The target was reportedly an Afghan intelligence building in the Ghazni province. And according to government officials, the attack was carried out using a Humvee. Most of the victims are intelligence officials employed at the National Directorate of Security. The attack took place early in the morning and it was not immediately clear as to who was behind the attack. But now the Taliban has claimed responsibility officially. The insurgent group has claimed that the blast was in response to President Ashraf Ghani's decision to resume attacks on the Taliban. Also keep in mind that this show of aggression comes a day after Ashraf Ghani and his rival Abdullah signed a unity government agreement. And now for more details, our Kabul correspondent Mustafa Kazemi is joining us live. Mustafa, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us, what do we know about this attack so far? We know that the Taliban has claimed responsibility.
Hi, Priyanka. Yes, just a few minutes ago before the bulletin start, we had another confirmation from health officials in Ghazni. The number of wounded people have increased to 40, and all of them are military members, and the number of dead have increased to 8. Now, the health officials tell us that this number is very likely to go up because the damage of the perimeter to this regiment of the NDS, Afghanistan intelligence, is extremely wide, and there could be some bodies still under the rubbles of the main compound. Now, the Taliban started this attack. This is actually the first on an Afghan intelligence outfit since the Afghan president said that they're resuming their offensive operations, and the Taliban said so as well. And the particular unit that was attacked in Ghazni is mainly responsible for special operations against Taliban, Daesh, and other insurgency outfits here in Afghanistan. And they're well known for their effective roles and arresting some of the major ISIS and Haqqani and other terror group leaders. Now, this is the first outside Kabul, and military analysts, a couple of them I just spoke to a while ago, said that this is the beginning of a massive wave of violence by the Taliban, just as the Afghan president and Dr. Abdullah reached an agreement to bring peace. But this could work otherwise for the Taliban. Also, health officials tell us that in the coming hours, it is very likely that the number of dead and wounded will increase. And most of them, over 90% of them, are intelligence personnel, and there are other military personnel as well. And people from the area over the telephone told us that there's massive damage to a lot of civilian buildings as well, but we have not yet received civilian deaths or injuries from the area.
Right. Now, as you just mentioned, the timing of this attack raises a lot of questions. As you said that there has been a unity government formation between Ashraf Ghani's government and his rival Abdullah. So can we expect more such attacks from the Taliban, and that too bold ones?
Definitely, because after the main attack last week on the Afghan maternity hospital, which was an incident that shook the world, the Afghan president moved back the Afghan forces to start going into offensive status and attack Taliban after a couple of months of halt to show goodwill gesture for the peace process to work out. And just immediately after them, the Taliban also said that they're going to continue their attacks. And just as it started 2 days ago, the day before yesterday, the government reported that in 24 hours since the Taliban and the government restarted their attacks against each other, 150 people had been killed in 24 hours period. That is an indication that the coming weeks or months could become more bloody as the two parties have declared war once again on each other.
Right.
But that could come to a halt if Ashraf Ghani and Dr. Abdullah would speed up their efforts to bring peace and try to negotiate a truce with the Taliban.
Right. Now, Mustafa, peace remains a distant dream in Afghanistan. The U.S. has formally intervened. Now the Taliban has boldly claimed responsibility for this attack. So what lies ahead in the political landscape of the country?
Well, since Dr. Abdullah and Dr. Ghani have formed the government, that it was stressed the main problem, the political deadlock, was what was happening to stop the peace process and intensify, increase these attacks in Afghanistan. But now, as the government has been formed and now the peace process is going to go ahead and led by Dr. Abdullah and under observation of Dr. Ghani, there is a glimpse of hope that this could come to an end and Afghanistan can go back to peace, even temporary or a ceasefire. But the efforts can start now, and people are hopeful that if Dr. Ghani and Abdullah settle down properly after this agreement and work for bringing peace, it is possible, because the Taliban in the past did show a gesture that they also like to participate in bringing peace to the country. However, conditional, but they are ready. And now it's up to the Afghan leaders to try to work it out and bring peace just to the 20 years long war here.
Right. Mustafa, thank you so much for your inputs and thank you for joining us. We'll continue to bring you more updates as we find out more about this developing story.